Okay, welcome year ones to our English lesson today. Today we are going to be writing postcards from Beegu to Beegu's mummy. You will need today a pencil and paper, and I'm hoping that we will have been able to put on the school website the postcard format that you can use today. But if you can't find that, or if you don't have a printer, then you could just make your own format for the postcard on your paper or in your book today. You will also need to recap the story. So in a moment, I'll give you time to pause and you can listen to the story again of Beegu. You can watch that video again. Okay, so pause now and go to the story. Okay. And then come back. so hopefully you're back. Hello. So we are now thinking about postcards again. On the front of the postcard is where the picture is going to be. So if you were able to get yourself the format of the postcard, then on the front, that is where you can draw your picture. And I will put up some images in a moment from Beegu, which could give you ideas of maybe the part that you would like to write about on your postcard. It could be when Beegu found the tree, or when he met the children at the playground. Okay. Or perhaps this cover here. Okay, so in a moment I'll give you time to draw your picture that will be on the front of your postcard. And on the back of your postcard, that's where we're going to write our message today. And the address, so we're going to write to Beegu's mummy. She's called Beegu and she lives on planet Mars. And the stamp, if you don't have the stamp on your format, you can draw one like I have here. Okay, so we're going to just recap some of those keywords that we wrote down yesterday. So you've written these in your books or on your paper and I wrote them here. So we had the words deepest and darkest, which is how Aunt Lucy described Peru. But if we look at this picture on the front, that could also describe what Earth is like for Beegu. I have landed on deepest, darkest Earth. Earth might not be like that. I hope it's not like that for us all the time. But certainly when Beegu lands on Earth, it reminds me a little bit of the rainforest where Aunt Lucy was. Those buildings remind me a little bit like those trees. So he is very dark. He could be right in the middle, in deepest, darkest Earth. So we could use those words today. We could steal deepest and darkest. Another word that we could steal today is giant, or maybe another word that means giant, like massive, gigantic, those words that you came up with. So there might be, in this story we could describe the giant buildings, or the giant teacher. She must seem very, very, very huge to poor Beegu. And possibly we have the giants, people all around Beegu as well. They're like giants to Beegu. So that's another good word that we could steal. You've also got silent. You could use that word today as well. Certainly when Beegu first lands on Earth, or when he is lying all alone, you could perhaps he thinks that Earth is silent. Maybe in this picture, imagine it being very, very, very quiet. Okay. So as well as these words, you may want to think of some words to describe what it is like for Beegu on planet Earth. You can definitely use these words, but you could just have a little bit of a chat in a moment with your grown-up to describe what it's like for Beegu on Earth. What can you see in those scenes on the PowerPoint above me and next to me. And can you describe them? So what are the buildings like? Are they thin, tall buildings? Are they giant towers? Are they giant, bustling people walking past Beegu? How can you describe the people around Beegu? And also, if you look at the picture above my head, there's a leaf. How can we describe that leaf? What's it look like? Maybe instead of giant, that leaf to Beegu is tiny. He probably doesn't know what a leaf is. A tiny orange floating thing. Okay, so if you need more time to just talk about what you can see in the picture with a grown-up and describe those things, then please pause. Okay, and you can add any of those words to your, we would do it on our working wall in the classroom, but you can add any extra adjectives or powerful words that you've used. You can add those to your page of words that you did yesterday. Okay, so I am going to steal the words use some of the words that we came up with yesterday, and normally we would do this together. We'd write a postcard all together before you went off and did one on your own, but I am going solo. I'm going to have to do it on my own. I don't have year one's help anymore. You always used to help me with our writing, didn't you? But I'm going to just show you an example of what a postcard would be like. I think I've got to give you time to do your picture, so now would be a really good time to pause. I'll leave it on this slide for a minute and draw your picture on the front of your postcard, what it was like for Beegu on Earth. Okay, please keep it paused if you need. Obviously you'll need extra time to draw your picture. So now we're going to start our writing. I'm just going to keep these pictures on the screen because that's really going to help me. So do you remember we looked at Aunt Lucy's card and we thought about how the postcard started? We're going to start our message over here. So Aunt Lucy wrote dear. We could write to. I'm going to write dear to start our postcard, and we're going to write to Mummy, so dear Mummy. So we're going to start with a, do you remember that's a capital? D-ear. Ear is our trigraph, so tell your grown-ups the letters in ear. So it's E, or E, A, R. Normally you help me to write these trigraphs, don't you? So I'm on my own, so hopefully you remembered it's E, A, R. Dear, I'm going to write Mummy. I'm going to start with a capital because that's her name. E. E in Mummy is the E at the end of a word, so it is often the Y, the Y. Well done if you've remembered that. So we've written Dear Mummy. We need to tell Mummy where we are. So I am on planet Earth. But I'm going to steal these words. I am on deepest, darkest Earth. I think I'm going to write that. I think that sounds good. So I'm going to start my sentence with, remember that's our capital, I. I'm not sure if you can see, if you might move it around. So I am on deepest, darkest, Earth. Earth is a name, so capital. Very tricky word, Earth, so you can ask a grown-up to write that on your page for you so you know how it is written. Okay, I am on deepest, darkest Earth. The end of our sentence needs a... Well done if you clapped for a full stop. Okay, so we have written first part of our postcard. We've told Mummy where we are. We can read that back together, everybody. Read it with me and your grown-up will be very impressed. I am on deepest, darkest earth. Wow, that sounds very exciting because we've used these powerful words, deepest and darkest. I'm going to go back to this board here. Now, some of you might want to use giant to describe what you can see. So I might say, or silent. I don't know, you could write, it is silent, or I can see giant. Don't think he'll know that they're buildings, giant towers. I might write, I can see giant towers. Okay, so when you're writing, you can write that, or you can think of your own sentence. Maybe you wouldn't use giant, you could use silent possibly. So I can see giant, giant. I've thought actually I'm going to use that word silent because I think that will go really nicely with giant. I'm going to write giant silent towers. I don't think they're making a noise for Beegu in that picture. Giant silent towers. Ow. Ow. We've learnt the digraph ow. There's two ways of making ow. We can make ow with o. Can you tell you're going up with the letter? We can also make ow with o and oo. And in towers it's this one. So ow. Towers. Can you remember the This comes at the end of the word. So this time, if you've remembered, at the end of a word, is E-R. Is it tower or towers? This is when I normally need your help, year ones. I think it was towers, so I'm going to add this. Okay. That, I think, is the end of my sentence, so hopefully we've remembered it. It's a full stop. I'm going to read that sentence back. I can see giant, silent towers. Okay, looking at my words again now, so you can look at your words that you wrote on your page when you do your writing and think about which word you'd like to use to describe how Beegu is feeling. I keep coming back to this word, but in this story, Beegu is lonely, definitely lonely. I could write scared. I'm going to write lonely. I am lonely. I'm just going to use a different colour. I should have done this. Use a different colour just because it's a new sentence and I forgot I should have done that there. Sorry. So I am lonely. We also thought about ending our postcard. And I hope I will see you soon. I am lonely. I'm going to use a joining word. So I am lonely and. So I'm going to make that sentence a bit longer with and. And I hope I will see you soon. Do you remember our oos? Ooh. How you're growing up how to do the ooh. So well done if you've remembered it's an o and an o or two o's. Soon. And remember we're going to finish our postcard. Let's have a look. You can use your words from the other day. Love from or just from. I need to write who it's from. I've run out of space. This normally happens on a postcard. I always write too much. From, I'm going to put it down here, but if you've got extra space or an extra paper, please use it. From Beegu. Kiss, kiss. Okay. I don't need that on my postcard, so I'm just going to write that out. I'm going to read that back and you can read it with me. Dear Mummy, I am on deepest, darkest earth. I can see giant silent towers. I am lonely and I hope I will see you soon. From Beegu. Yes, yes. Okay. What I have also done on my postcard is I've drawn the stamp, if you don't have one, and then remember on this side, this is where you put the address. So I've written Beegu, because that's Beegu's mummy, that's her name, and she's on Mars, planet Mars. So hopefully that will get to Beegu, and maybe then she can come and rescue Beegu. Okay, if you wanted to at any point rewind this and go back to our writing and read it together, because it's going to be your turn now. With your grown-up, just talk about your sentences like I was doing. I had to talk to myself, but you can talk to your adult. Just say your sentence before you write it, so you can come up with those ideas together. Use the words that you have written from the other lesson. Have a think about which word you'd like to use. The key things that we could put in your postcard, just above my head, just give you ideas of how to structure your postcard. So you must write who it is to, so that's the first thing to do. You should write where you are. So you could write I am on planet Earth, but looking at the green, you could use those adjectives to describe where you are. So it'd be even better if you describe what it's like. And then you might use words to describe your feelings. So we've done that here, I am lonely, but you can describe how you feel as Beegu. Okay, have fun writing your postcards and have fun drawing your pictures on the front. I didn't get to do that. So hopefully you can show me your wonderful, wonderful pictures and your wonderful postcards. I think if you give them to an adult, they'll be able to get them sent to Mars for you, so that hopefully Migo can come and rescue Beegu. Okay, so well done everybody. Be amazing writers, because I know you are, and see you soon.